Welcome to the Bookistrator, where I share the stories I love through illustration. In today's video, I'll be sharing the book Sweep, The Story of a Girl and Her Monster by Jonathan Auxier. I don't think I'm pronouncing that last name right. I'm so sorry if I totally butchered it. This book was harrowing and delightful, full of truths both hard and easy to stomach. It's a middle-grade novel with children living in extremely dangerous circumstances, set in the Victorian era of London. There are moments of racism, classism, and sexism. You'll also find nods to Jewish mythology and religion, along with the rise of industrialism. With all of that in mind, let's get into the video. Okay, right off the cuff here, this piece was really simple. It's one of the easiest ones I've done for the channel so far, and I'm really grateful I can share these types of illustrations with you all as well as more complex ones. But before I get ahead of myself, I gotta share what this book is about. Our story is told through the eyes of an 11-year-old girl named Nan Sparrow. No relation to Jack Sparrow, pretty sure. Nan is a chimney sweep in Victorian-era London. This isn't the silly, happy, fun type of job portrayed in Disney's Mary Poppins, but closer to the idea put forth by the movie Water Babies. Did anyone see that movie as a kid? Super weird, but also interesting. The shift to 2D animation partway through was extremely jarring. Anyway, Nan is a chimney sweep. She and other children hired by men who find them jobs are sent to clear out the soot along the inner walls of a chimney. To do this, they have to shimmy and crawl and scrape their way up the inner walls of said chimney, scrubbing the whole way up. They did this because soot can catch fire, and it can build up and become extremely dangerous. Lighting a fireplace full of soot is an excellent way to then ignite your entire house. While this profession has mostly died out in our era due to electricity, this used to be an extremely common profession for children, mainly orphans, to provide. Adults can't fit up there, of course, and little street urchins are easy to take advantage of. Nan is an incredible climber, maybe the best in London, but she's also a girl, which makes her a subject of attack from rival crews, even from her own team. When a cleaning job she undertakes goes sideways, Nan is caught in the flue, unable to move, as fire licks up behind her. But somehow, she escapes. The walls collapse, and amidst the dust settling, Nan finds a little creature made of ash and coal. Nan and this sootball become best of friends, and she helps him grow and create a more useful and strong body by bringing him more ash and coal. Eventually, he's even given a name, Charlie. But Nan isn't satisfied with him just existing to help and be her friend. What is he? She talks to a Jewish schoolteacher who teaches her about golems, creatures made from dirt and clay to serve rabbis in Jewish mythology. But now Nan has a new problem. Where did Charlie come from? That is a question I'll leave you to discover on your own. As I read this book, I knew what I wanted to draw almost instantly. I only did 3 sketches before I settled on my idea, which is pretty rare for me. I wanted it to be a simple character moment, just Nan and Charlie together. The first thought I had was of them on the left here, a tender zoomed-in moment, where you could see the steam billowing off Charlie's head. The second was him holding Nan in his arms as he gets quite large, keeping her safe from the dreadful world around them. But the final sketch is the one I settled on, of course. As you can see, I'm actively working on it. This was actually inspired by a moment in the book. Nan has been trying to figure out what kind of creature Charlie is, which I said earlier. When she finally settles on Golem, she tells Charlie about it, who is not very thrilled with her discovery. "I think I would rather just be Charlie," he says to her. This moment is very profound for Nan, the moment she realizes that Charlie isn't a creature to be categorized, but a being with sentience. He's like her, in that people never see her as herself. They see her as a chimney sweep, a street urchin, a waste of space, or an orphan. Never as Nan. Nan says to him, "Just Charlie is plenty good enough for me." When she hugs him, her arms can't go all the way around. It was that moment I wanted to draw, this cozy and poignant experience between 2 very young individuals who are just trying to make some sense out of the world, who can relate to one another. And also, I wanted to take a stab at designing my take on Charlie. He's described as taller than Nan, with no neck, just his head protruding from his shoulders like a knoll. His body is lumpy and his legs are uneven, but he's humanoid. He gave himself 3 fingers on each hand, as that was plenty for his purposes. Smoke is described trailing off him faintly, but on this white background, I figured you wouldn't be able to see it. Although, I now wish I'd taken the time to add it. I also really like the idea of making his thighs smaller in comparison to his calves and feet. I did something similar to his biceps and forearm areas. It's just appealing to me to have that reversed from what you usually see in nature. And now that I'm looking at it, all I can see are those fireman toys from the 2000s, the ones with comically large feet and tiny heads. That's embarrassing. I also put a big lump of soot on his back. I imagine that when he formed his body with all the materials Nan brought him, he couldn't really reach back there. So that's the unformed lumpy area that kind of resembles a turtle shell. Or maybe excess coal and ash he can use to reform or strengthen other parts of his anatomy if needed. I don't design a lot of creatures, so this was super fun. Plus, not too complex, which was very nice. Moving on to Nan herself here, there is a period of the book where she gets access to some new clothes. They belong to a sailor and are way too big for her. They are clean and better than her previous outfit. I rolled up the sleeves of the shirt, made the belt dangle off comically long, and rolled up her pants as well. She doesn't like shoes, as she's a climber who uses her toes to get up chimney stacks. Also, the man whose clothes these were would have shoes far too big for her to wear. I meant to dirty her up with soot and grime from the streets, but in this moment of the book, she's clean and happy living with Charlie. I also added little soot piles on the floor that will be just little subtle indications that they're standing in a place with a ground, not just a white void. But I won't color them in or anything. I did something similar in my Red Palace piece with those sketchily drawn bamboo stalks in the background. And earlier than that, in a piece I did for a group project a few years ago, celebrating characters from the author Brandon Sanderson's worlds. This is an illustration I did of some of his characters from the Stormlight archive. I wish I'd thought of this Bookistrator channel before I painted that so that I'd had a video to share here. Alas, I did not. But I'll definitely be doing a video for that series, if not multiple, in the future. We're getting close to the end of my footage here. I'll add just a bit of texture basically, and we're done. But as I wrap up, I had a few last things to say about this book. One of this book's themes is, who is the monster? Is it the large soot creature? Is it the men who use children to clean chimneys even though it has to be done? Is it the Industrial Revolution starting in the streets, which could make so many people lose their jobs, even if it does create new ones? The other core thought of this book made me think about is who matters? Who deserves safety, a warm home, food to eat? Does a chimney sweep matter, even though they are uneducated orphans and easily replaceable? If a child grows too big to scale the chimney, it's hardly a problem to get another desperate urchin on the street to take over the work. So did that previous kid matter? Middle grade novels and children's media can sometimes be overlooked by teens and especially adults. They can be seen as silly, which is the point of a lot of them, or without merit. But I believe there are so many truths found between the pages of stories meant for our younger readers. Things that should be simple and feel that way when we are young can be harder to grapple with as adults. That's one of the reasons I often return to middle grade stories, even though they are absolutely not in my age range anymore. Even when things get dark for characters, no matter the genre, these books are filled with messages of hope, and I believe truths we could all learn from, no matter our age. I loved this book, and will anxiously gobble up the next one to come from Jonathan Auxier's pen. With that being said, let's take a look at the final image. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry this is a shorter video, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. I sure appreciate the time you all spend to watch and listen to me as I work through these stories. Hope I see you again next week. Bye!